What's up, y'all? It's poppin'. It's D. About to react to this vid by Dumebe. It's titled "Black People in America Are Brainwashed. Stop calling yourselves African Americans." Apparently, this was said by a black British person based on the title, and just looking at the still shot, I'm guessing it's this black girl, and she's about to talk about how black Americans are disconnected from their roots and they don't know who they are or where they're from. And this whole argument is just so tired. It's so ignorant. I reacted to a similar vid a while ago on my second channel. We had a great conversation over there. Shout out to everybody who participated in that conversation. But it's like a lot of people don't realize that Black Americans are more native to America than many of these other groups who are here. Like a lot of their ancestors came here after slavery. So when you have these Italians, these French people, they came here after us. Mexicans, they came here after. Black Americans have been here a very, very long time. We are from here. The fuck is you talking about? Me personally, I can trace my roots back several generations in America. My dad has black and white pictures of my great grandparents in fucking Louisiana. Fuck is you saying? We are from here. So what are you asking us? It's like they want to put us down and make it seem like they're superior in some type of way because, oh, I have a direct connection to where I'm from. It's like, but we do too, and we're still here. We're here. You want us to trace back our ancestry hundreds of years ago when in reality, you more than likely can't even do that. You don't know what the fuck your ancestors were 300 years ago. Chances are they probably migrated from other countries and went to Nigeria or Ghana or South Africa or wherever the fuck. So why are you asking us to trace back our ancestry 3-4 fucking 100 years ago? You're not asking that of other groups. When y'all meet white people in America, you're not asking them, oh, but where are you really from? Where are your people really from? Y'all don't do that bullshit to them when quite literally a lot of them came here very recently. Like a couple generations ago, if that. So it's like, but it's cool to do that to us. I just am over it. I'm tired. I hate everybody. Okay, because this is just such an ignorant, tired talking point to put Black Americans down, like I said. But anyway, let's hear what she got to say and hear people's responses. Let's watch.
Is it me or does he sound dumb as hell? Like, what he mean? He asked him where he from, and he said Atlanta, Georgia. That's where he from, dummy. Atlanta, Georgia is in the United States of America, dummy.
Oh,
like
yeah,
what?
We have to explain this.
My bad. I thought it was her because she was at the very beginning of the video. It was like this. So I thought she was the black Brit talking shit. But apparently this is their response. So she was just previewing some of the people's response. Okay, this is the black Brit, it appears. Okay.
Genuinely, there's no why. But let me just go right ahead and play his video. Bro, I don't know if Americans are genuinely confused or they're just thick, because this blew my mind. And if you're not American, this will probably blow your mind too. So I'm from England, right? But most English people are usually white, just like Americans are usually white too, okay? Keep that in mind, this is very important. As you can see from looking at my skin, I'm not just like...
That's already a very ignorant statement, because it's like, this was not white people's land. So why are you trying to attribute being American to being white? They stole this land. What are you talking about?
I have black in me, which means I come from African descent. So be more specific, Ghanaian descent. Keep this in mind. I was outside in America and I seen a fellow melanin brother. Now, when I'm looking at melanin people, I can usually tell what part of Africa you are from your features. And I saw this brother that I thought might have been Ghanaian too. Big up my Ghana brothers, by the way. But was I so wrong? So I proceeded to ask, yo, bro, what part of Africa are you from? He said, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I was like, oh, what? But like, where are your parents from? Atlanta, Georgia. So what about your grandparent? Atlanta, Georgia.
Exactly, goofy nigga. He telling you where he from. Where's the confusion? You act like you don't understand what occurred with the slave trade. Why you acting dumb?
So my next question was, how are you black? There's a lot of black people in Atlanta, Georgia, son. So you're telling me that you're not from Africa, but your skin is saying otherwise. Yeah, proud African-American, straight out of Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. And before I could ask him any more questions, brother, I answered it for myself. These people genuinely think that African-American is its own race. And this is actually deep, bro. These African-Americans...
It is, you bum nigga. Like, oh, this is so irritating. Because they also use this talking point to try to put Black Americans down and make it seem like, oh, y'all don't have a culture. Oh, we don't have a culture that's stolen and emulated by the entire fucking world. Like, that you benefit from and use on a fucking daily basis, from our lingo, the way we dress, the way we talk, like, music... But we don't have a culture and oh, our race isn't real? Come on.
Us children. Yes, you heard me right. So I'm sorry to break it to you, but there's no such thing as African Americans. Our ancestors were just taken from Africa to America, brainwashed, and completely forgot where they came from. And that's the truth. So maybe go look at your history before saying I'm African American.
So now, when I watched that video, I was like, the amount of ignorance in that video, I don't think it came from a malicious place. He's just really ignorant, and he is so loud with his ignorance. Like he's
so
loud and wrong at the same
with yellow
time.
teeth.
Now, remember I said I was going to tell you guys why I had to emphasize on the fact that he is British. This is because I have seen takes like this on TikTok.
The British. Lord, this also reminds me when me and my friends, we were in Ghana last year. We had a lot of these conversations by the Black British there who just wanted, oh, but where are you from? Oh, but how are you? And I feel like they was doing it to be slick. I was ignoring it last year, but I'm ready to argue this year. I'm about to start going off because now I'm realizing that you're doing it to be condescending and you're playing dumb when you know what the fuck is up. Because you want to hear me be like, I don't know where I'm from. Oh my God, I'm lost. So you could be like, oh, well, you're here in my home country. I know where I'm from. Like, that's what it's giving. And now I want to go off. And now I understand why my friend was going off. Because she was getting irritated last year. She was, like, arguing with niggas and everything. I was just like, anyway, I was just ignoring the shit. But now I'm ready to argue because I see what the fuck y'all doing. And now I'm irritated because now it's becoming too common. You keep doing the shit. Now you're pissing me off.
On the internet. And
but yeah, the Black British be on some bullshit. Obviously not all y'all. Okay, I love my Black British people. But some of them be doing the most.
It usually comes from Black people that are in Europe. When you see a lot of these videos that are talking about African Americans and pointing out the differences or making all these points that make you look as if they do not understand why African Americans are the way they are and have developed the kind of identity and culture that they have today. 9 times out of 10, it might be an African person, but it is always an African person that happens to be in Europe. Britain, especially, they are usually British. And if you think I'm joking, these videos, this one, and this one are examples. These are obviously people that are
I think it was this one.
Yes, but they are living in Europe. They have been there for a while. You could even hear it in their accent that these are not people that are living in Africa, or they might not have even been born or even bred in Africa. So it is safe to say that there is definitely a mindset that some of these Black British people have. Now, I know it's not going to be all of them, but there definitely seems to be a lot of them because these people get on the internet and make these crazy videos from time to time. And you know what? Before I blab on, you guys know that a lot of people replied to him. So let me just go right ahead and play people's replies to his video.
How are you Black? There's a lot of Black people in Atlanta, Georgia, son. So you're telling me that...
I understand why Black Americans don't like Black Brits. Like, I get it. At first, I wasn't even going to make a response to this. I thought it was clickbait. Like, any amount of Googling can tell you the answer to whatever he's saying. I feel like in secondary school, we all watched Roots. Like, I think we all know why Black Americans identify with the city they're from and not some random African country. Like, we know, right? Black Brits really bring the vibes down sometimes. And, like, there'll be xenophobia on both sides. Like, we all say things about each other, but, like, Black British people, hey, Black people have enough going on. There's enough issues that Black people across the world have to deal with that don't have anything to do with country of origin, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's focus. Focus.
Bro, I don't know if Americans are genuinely confused or they're just thick. Because this...
He goes on to say that if you're not American, you're going to be confused too. I'm not technically American, but I'm not confused at all. Like,
period.
I'm confused why this guy is confused.
Period.
I'm like, do they teach people, like, a lot of English and European get on here and talk about how dumb Americans are, but a lot of the times they open their mouth and I wonder who's the dumb one. Because do they not teach them about slavery and the slave trade or anything? Because if you knew that, you wouldn't be confused. Black people from America, or African Americans, which you say don't exist, have been in this country for like 400 years. Okay.
And we came here and turned fucking lemons into lemonades, okay? And made shit happen and built a culture here. When some of us were sold by our own people, and since over here, we came here and made a culture here, and we've been here for hundreds of years. So the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
They're born in Atlanta, Georgia. Their mom was probably born in Atlanta, Georgia. Their grandmother was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Their grandmother's mother was born in. Basically, they could trace their ancestry in America back at least 400 years. So what do you mean they're not American? They're American.
I said these
But
things.
they know that originally they were from Africa somewhere. One of their ancestors got jacked up and shipped over here as a slave, and that's where they originated. And they don't know where in Africa they're
But
from.
why? That is irrelevant in my personal opinion. Why do you want me to connect with my ancestry back hundreds of years ago? I have no direct connection over there. Okay, I have no family over there. I can't just pull up and see my aunties and uncles. I don't have that experience. If you have that, that's amazing. I love that you're able to go to your home country and you got family there. It's lit. I love that for you. Good for you. But don't put down my experience. I don't have that same experience, and that's okay. But don't ask me to connect with that ancestry back way back then. That don't even make any fucking sense. I am American. I'm not associated with my ancestry back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. You don't ask other groups to do that. Again, why are you expecting me to do that?
Why would they know that? Because during slavery, the slave masters made a concerted effort to cut them and strip them of that heritage. So none of them know where they originated unless they take a DNA test, and that's just guesswork. And a lot of the countries in Africa that exist.
And low key, sorry, so that's my boss. Low key, y'all who have these direct connections to your ancestry, and you got family in Nigeria or Zimbabwe or wherever the fuck. If you do a test, you probably gonna see some other ancestry in your fucking DNA from other countries. So you just thinking, oh, I'm just full blooded from Nigeria. Chances are you're not though. Other shit is gonna pop up. So again, are you gonna try to connect with that ancestry back hundreds of years ago? No. You're gonna be more in touch with your more recent ancestry, correct? So again, why are you expecting different from us?
Now, it didn't exist back then.
I'm gonna go to Zimbabwe.
So why do y'all expect black people born and raised in America to know exactly where they're from? Oh yeah, I'm from Ghana. Why would they know that? Okay, exactly. They wouldn't. And it seems weird to me that I was born in the Caribbean in Grenada. And basically it's the same story.
This year.
I don't know exactly where my ancestry came from, but I know that I was born in Grenada. My mom was born in Grenada. Her mom was born in Grenada. Her mom's mom was born in Grenada. And we could trace this back at least 4, 5, 6 generations that we were born in Grenada. So we're good. So we say we're Caribbean. That's our ethnicity.
Exactly.
Because that's a culture. That's a separate culture. We were brought to this place and we created our own culture, our own tradition, our own stuff. So we're a separate ethnicity. Just the same with African Americans. They were forced into this country and they created their own culture, their own languages, their own traditions, and their own ethnicity. So even though I live in America now, I can't tell people I'm African American because technically I'm not. Because African American is its own thing. It's its own ethnicity. They have their own history, their own kind of language, the foods they eat that are separate from Caribbeans.
Exactly.
Their own ethnicity. So yes, African American does exist. It's an ethnicity. Exactly. Jamaicans, all the Caribbeans aren't the same boat as African Americans, but y'all don't give them the same smoke. Why?
Same thought. Because Jamaicans, you're not like, oh, but where are you from before Jamaica? Or what part of Africa did you come from before? Y'all don't do that to them. It's just like, you Jamaican, okay, cool. You're going to accept that and keep it pushing. Because that's the culture that they currently bask in. They're Jamaican. And that's okay for them, right? But for Black Americans, it's not okay.
And just, like, literally, the whole thing was just, that whole video was just upsetting.
I hate everybody.
Because y'all try to erase African Americans' history, their own struggles, and their own issues. Just for what? And purposely be dense.
Atlanta, Georgia.
It's because they want to feel superior.
Atlanta, Georgia.
This is why we're called African Americans. This is mine. These are all part of my heritage. How can I just claim one part of Africa? And that's not.
And if he did a test, it would be the fucking same. And especially because it sounds like he's saying he's biracial. So you really need to shut the fuck up. I'm gonna talk about that at the end. Sorry,
I'm down to what tribe my ancestors came from during that time. And I didn't even get to that on what's below that too. That's just as much as a shit show as well. But if that's too hard to understand, here's a generational background of each generation and where they fall. See, there's a lot that go back really, really far. There's a lot that are closer. I can't say where they come from. I can't say which grandparent they fall into. I don't even know who half of my grandparents are past 1860. I always find it funny that people use things that came from African American culture, but try and make fun of it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
From Atlanta, Georgia.
I don't know how much I got left in my body to explain this to y'all, but okay. And we have to explain this all the time. Y'all still get it.
No, they get it.
Nobody, no African American in their right mind is debating that we are or aren't African. Look at me, look at my features.
Exactly.
I mean, duh.
I'm of
Like,
African
that's not up to
descent.
debate.
Duh.
We know we African, we know we West and Central African. That's not up to debate. What y'all struggle to understand is our genealogy, our DNA. It's very, very, very complex. And it's like some of y'all haven't even heard of the Atlantic slave trade. Like, at this point, y'all should have known about it by then, right? Like, but I'll buy it. We can trace our ancestry back to various tribes in West and Central Africa. That's not up to debate, okay? We are mixed up like a pot of gumbo. And that's just what it is. And being mixed, it don't mean happening racially. But we is mixed like a pot of gumbo. We have so many different white, African ethnic tribes in us. We got some white European DNA in us. We got some, some of us mixed with the indigenous tribes in parts of the South, which means some of us may have indigenous American ancestry as well. I mean, you got Louisiana Creole people who are like really mixed up like gumbo, racially and ethnically. And then you got some people like the Gullah Geechee people who barely mixed up with certain folk, who barely mixed up with other races. Same thing for people in like places like deep in Mississippi, places like deep in Alabama. And when the African American tell you that they is from Mississippi, they from Atlanta, Georgia, they from Charleston, South Carolina, New York City, the Bronx, LA, whatever. Whenever they tell you that don't mean that they don't know where they come from. That just means that is where our
recent ancestry.
That's where our culture is. That's where we from. It's just as valid as an Afro-Colombian saying they from Cartagena or an Afro-Brazilian saying they from Bahia in Brazil. I just don't get why y'all make it seem like it's rocket science when trying to figure out African Americans. It's not hard. It is complex because so many of us, and the reason why we can't find our original tribes is because it's impossible, okay? And it's always gonna be impossible. It's just like it is. It's just how it is. Why? Because so many of us were moved from different plantations to different plantations in the South. Some families were removed from each other. They cured.
The nigga who talking don't know his tribes either. If you want to trace back hundreds of years ago.
Some of us even,
So
some
he
of the
sounds
trade
so
even went
stupid.
from America, the South, to the Caribbean, to Latin America. It was all a bunch of moving around, so it's impossible for us to find our original tribe. And that's okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
We created a new culture in America. We gave this country culture at this point. We brought so many things from Africa that now grow in America, like such as rice, such as watermelon, such as other things, okra. We gave that to America. So no, we're not lost people. Stop calling us lost people. Don't engage with those who say, "Oh, we originally from America." We all know they're crazy. We all know that. So don't interact with them. But y'all need to understand that African American is our own culture. It's our own ethnicity. We are here in America. We are black. No, we're not saying we're originally from America because we know we African.
Completely forgot where they came from.
That's funny because you have nothing else to talk about but us. Meanwhile, your homeland is falling apart. Your country literally in shambles. Economics in shambles. Food shambles. Food safety in shambles. Your people poor. No hope. I don't understand why you worried about us when you got bigger fish to fry. Don't complain at us. The palm color people are doing that. Your cousin doing that to your people. Don't worry about us. Worry about your starving people at home.
Your history before saying I'm African American.
Every few months, one of these spineless bastards like to walk up to the diaspora tree and shake it to see if you can get a few thousand followers from one of his fruits. And y'all methods are downright disrespectful, diabolical,
very disrespectful.
and y'all's tones tend to be condescending.
Very condescending.
So let me give those of you that think like this man a quick history lesson. The continent of Africa was divided up evenly amongst the European nations at the time. They were conquered and pillaged of their resources and their people, save for a few nations like Ethiopia. Some of you with any amount of geographical history know that the way Africa is divided up now is not how it was divided prior to its exploration by European nations at the time, thus starting a very systematic and brutal extraction of Africa that lasts to this current day, which we all on a global scale, everyone a part of the diaspora can feel the.
And I think it's just so interesting, and no shade. No shade to anybody, but it's just so interesting when you will have some of these Africans making these comments about you so disconnected from your roots while they speaking French. You're not speaking your native language.
Groups of people is different.
You were
my experience as an African American is going to be different from somebody of the Caribbean, or from somebody from South Africa, or somebody from the UK, and the people that still live in Africa today. Now, every nation after slavery dealt with their diasporic peoples in a similar way, different forms of apartheid, different forms of Jim Crow, racism that systematically oppressed them, kept them at the lower tiers of society, prevented them from accessing wealth, prevented them access to their own heritage. Now, some of us are luckier than others. Some of us can look back and have a well kept together bits of history of our heritage to be like, okay, my people came from here, my people came from here, right? The furthest I've been able to go back is 5 generations to a 17-year-old woman that entered into Baltimore, Maryland in the early 1800s as a slave. And that's just one of my great-greats. Now, speaking on the experience of us in African America and in America trying to trace our ancestry back, a lot of our records are in people's basements, being passed down from generation to generation to generation. A lot of our information isn't even public record. I was only able to find most of my family history because they were mulatto, mixed with white. So therefore their records were kept well. So even my experience isn't going to be the same as the next African American when they try to go back and trace their lineage.
Well said, brother.
I think the only person who's here is you, babe. Is you. It's crazy how us African Americans, we really be out here minding our own black ass business, just trying to survive. We're only trying to survive. And here y'all go, trying to belittle and berate us for I don't know what reason. Y'all be doing that out the blue.
Because it's this African versus African American war that some of them be conjuring up in their goddamn heads, but they in war with themselves because nobody cares and nobody talking about y'all. Of course, you might see some little trolls online. They might make some slick comments, and I get that some of y'all was called African booty scratchers growing up, so you're scarred, and now you're trying to project this anger out on us. It's you in war with yourself, baby, and you're sounding dumb. And we're over it. Obviously, I'm not talking about all Africans. I'm not talking about all British people. Obviously, I'm talking about the ones who talk like he's talking.
Said, maybe you need to do some research on your history before you say you're African American. No. Maybe you need to do research on U.S. history before you try to come at us for not knowing where to come from. Dude sitting there talking about some, oh, I asked this guy, and he said, where's he from? He said, Atlanta, Georgia. I said, where are your parents from? He said, Atlanta, Georgia. I said, where are your grandparents from? He said, Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, bro. Because that's all we can trace our ancestry back to is the Americans. What are you talking about? We don't know how to trace our ancestry back to Africa. We wish we could, but we can't. And y'all know we can't.
But that's why African Americans don't say that, though, because neither can he. He can't trace his ancestry back that far either.
We didn't know shit. Because when the man came over and took our ancestors, they made sure that they erased anything and everything so we can trace our ass back to that. We can't. They depleted it all. They're talking about something, oh, well, I can tell what type of African you're from just by looking at you. Great. That's what was good for you.
He can't. He's chatting. Shut the fuck
tell
up.
Us. Let us know. Let us know.
Because we can't tell by looking at you.
I know where my ancestors come from in Africa. Y'all be using that shit way too much. Y'all be taking that shit overboard. Because good for you. Like I said, we wish we could. We just
I'm not saying that no more. I used to say that, honestly. I used to be like, yeah, well, I wish I could. That's dope that you can. I'm not doing it no more because now I see that y'all doing this shit on purpose. And I'm not going to say, oh, I wish I could do anything because you want me to be in that position. So you be like, yeah, you wish you could be like me. That's what you want. So fuck you. Fuck out of here. I'm no longer saying that. I don't wish shit. I'm in the position I'm in. I'm happy with it. I'm content with it. Me and my people here. We out here. We've been here. Stop fucking playing with us.
Okay, so we have to become proud to be something else because we did not know where we started from. Like, what are you really trying to say? You're trying to say that we're not African? Are you trying to say we're not American? Because
and it's so. I'll talk at the end. I'm not gonna pause it.
I'm gonna end on this note. Y'all really need to just leave us the fuck alone. So what you know those stitches? I can only.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm so tired of people like him. It's just so sad. It's like you're purposely being ignorant. And what I'm gathering, I could be wrong, but this is just what I'm picking up on. Maybe he has some type of identity crisis because, he is repping Ghana or whatever, but the way that he looks, he's not looking Ghanaian, okay? It's not giving Ghanaian. I wouldn't look at him and say that. So he's having an identity crisis. So he wants to project his insecurities onto others and be like, no, y'all got the identity crisis. Y'all got the issue because he's dealing with his own internal shit and battling with who he is and who he thinks he is and what other people perceive him as. So it's giving projection. That's what I'm gathering. So you might want to talk to your therapist about that and leave us the fuck alone. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want me to watch and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.